So I'm just going to start making this video because my brain does not want to engage, but I am. What's it now? Like. The only thing I've eaten in the past 3 days is a little bit of beef liver and fish eggs that I had in a video yesterday. Why am I doing this? Well, still managed to burp though. Got probably some gut issues or something. But why am I doing this? Well, I'm doing this because I have this persistent form of insomnia that I've talked about so much, but I'm just going to keep on talking about it because it probably helps the PTSD. Like I've just the more I talk about it, the more it's like this thing that I talk about and not this sort of Damocles hanging over my head. But basically, I think I've slept every night this month, which is awesome. Be the first month I've slept every night in like how many? It'd be like 2 years. Frickin' amen, baby. So just this persistent insomnia, like it got so bad. Like I've had this happen 3 times in my life, and this is the third time it's happened. And it didn't get as out of control as it did the other 2 times where I didn't sleep for over a month. But it was just a lot of weeks of not sleeping, and my digestive system gave out, and I was puking and shitting everywhere. I think that was because I just consumed alcohol. Like, not even a lot of alcohol. I just didn't ever drink before I was like 18. So the 2 insomnia episodes I had were like one was when I was 18, and the other one was when I was 16. And then kind of afterward, I was like, oh, I'm on carnivore, so I can drink occasionally. And it was fine until it wasn't. And I think that's why it took me so long to recover this time. And I got 2 cavities that still need to be filled, but have stopped progressing since I've devoted myself to eating an 100% zero carb diet. So zoom back to like this winter. I was actually sleeping pretty well until we went to Mexico. And then they just, the resort that said that they were going to feed me soy, just fed me a ton of soy. And then I didn't sleep for a week and been recovering from that ever since. So that kind of fucked my sleep up again, though it wasn't as good as it is now when I went to Mexico. So, but basically, like I've just been trying to recover, and I have like brain damage. Like my brain, like now that I'm sleeping all the time, I'm just tired all the time. Like my brain does not want to engage, just wants to be tired. So I'm just alternating between, like I've already gone off of Adderall for a while, taking it now while I'm fasting because it kind of just helps my brain stay more active while fasting, but still just very spacey. Um, but I'm doing this fast, and then I'm planning on just eating a lot of food for the next week, and then doing another fast on Adderall. No, on paracetam. Another 3-day fast on paracetam and green tea, because paracetam has beneficial effects for NMDA receptor sensitivity, and based off of what's happening and a gut feeling and some experiments I did involving paracetam and various NMDA receptor agonists and substances, supplements that support its function, experimenting with those, and like magnesium, the NMDA receptor is a thing that helps me sleep. Paracetam would make me sleepy when I I mean, I've kind of like not taken Adderall so much over the last few months that I feel like my brain is no longer in an Adderall state of mind. It's more just I just take it sometimes because I took it every day for 5 years, and I'm trying to like zero in on normalcy. Like I'm like, okay, well, I was sleeping for most of the 5 years I was taking Adderall. So like 3 out of the 5 years. So I'm gonna kind of, as I remove it, I will go back to it when I run into sleep problems. It's like there's some stable equilibrium that's reached that involves me sleeping 5 days a week. This is just me going back to like a few months ago. You can watch all my videos. I can make videos every single day, and I talk about this every single day. So you can just go back and watch all the videos and see this happening in real time. Just telling you all the stuff that you could see yourself on my YouTube channel if you just go check it out. Because I document all of this because it's a huge pain in my ass. So I figure I might as well document it because this is just what my life is. So, and you can use it. You can use all this stuff to your benefit too if you're trying to recover from some terrible condition. So, go back a few months ago. I'm sleeping like 5 nights a week. You're like, oh, sleeping 5 nights a week. That's pretty good. No, I'm sleeping like 6 hours. Wake up in the middle of the night to go pee. So it's not even like 6 hours. It's probably more like 4.5 hours. And then I hadn't slept for basically the previous year. I mean, like I did get a little bit of sleep the previous year, but like hardly like 5% of what I needed to have stability in my body functioning and brain functioning. So my brain isn't functioning. It just is kind of like, but I have periods of time when my brain functions well that I achieve with high doses of green tea. Like one of the things I do consistently that makes my brain work the best is just drink green tea. Like as much as I can. I'll sit down, I'll drink like 2 gallons of green tea in a day. It's a huge task, but if I do that, my brain actually like turns on completely. So I'm going to do that during the piracetam fast later. But so let's say 3-4 months ago, this is all documented too. You can go look at my video series, Piracetam and Lion Diet. Sleeping like 5 nights a week, and I'm like, okay, what the hell's going on here? So I try everything, fasting, quitting weed, quitting everything, like stopping taking caffeine, like I just trying everything, and I'm like, okay, maybe if I switched from Adderall to Piracetam, that would work because Piracetam was what I was taking the first time I fixed insomnia with the carnivore diet because I had neurological issues then that are probably related to insomnia. One of the things I'm realizing doing this is that I've had neurological problems like my whole life. Most of which are probably related to insomnia, but it's just like, it's a huge pain in the butt. Like, it's just, I just want to like function at my best. And I feel like it's taken me 26 years to make this video and still not function at my best, but I'm getting there. Physician, heal thyself. You know, by the time I'm actually healed, I'll have an entire, like, I'll just be a god and documented the entire process. So physician is healing himself. It's just that y'all don't understand what health is, or maybe you do. I don't know. I'm just a little spacey from fasting. So but basically though, yeah, like magnesium was having a bit of an effect. Like all these supplements are having a bit of an effect. And I basically just concluded that I was having some issue with NMDA receptor sensitivity, or like Adderall pushes the NMDA receptor in one direction, Piracetam pushes it in the other direction. Go do a bunch of research and make of that what you will. I'm writing a book on it, and I'm kind of like spacey right now, so I just don't want to get into a super detailed explanation of it. Just resensitizes the receptor, basically. So that's why if you, like, Adderall stimulates it and Piracetam sensitizes it. So if you take Piracetam and Adderall at the same time, you'll get an insane headache because one of the drugs is making the NMDA receptor more sensitive. That's what Piracetam's doing. The other one's stimulating it. So Adderall makes it less sensitive. Piracetam makes it more sensitive. If I didn't take Adderall for like 4 days straight and then I took Adderall, I would pass out. That was like 4 months ago what I was doing. And I was like, this seems to be an NMDA receptor problem, so I'm going to take Piracetam. And I did that, and then my sleep normalized, but then things started becoming abnormal. like my hunger would go through the roof, and then my brain metabolism, I felt like it would just drop, and I would just be like, after like 8, 9 days on paracetam off of Adderall, that would start happening, and then around day 14, it would reach a point where I would have sleep disturbances, and then I would just fast and take Adderall, and then I've basically been doing that ever since, but also experimenting with not taking paracetam, also taking methylene blue, also taking my entire supplement stack. Anyway, just look up Devin Young supplement stack, and I'll probably just the supplements I take for sleep, I think, is a video I've made. But basically, yeah, I'm just doing that while wondering why the hell I have to do that and trying to optimize it. And what I've kind of figured thus far is that well, a lot of the problem, I think, also is that I couldn't fast enough previously. Like, the ability to just do these 3-day fasts is new because my digestive system didn't really work. So I just had raw liver and stuff yesterday, and raw fish eggs yesterday. I couldn't have done that. My tongue is still a little blue from yesterday. I couldn't have done that while like 4 or 5 months ago. I just would have puked. Like, I was just puking. Like, I think it was some issue with like my gallbladder not being able to produce enough bile to break down the food. Like, I was having trouble just breaking down food. So I couldn't eat enough when I wasn't fasting to fast for a long period of time. So basically what I was doing was just not eating enough and then fasting on top of not eating enough. And then just everything sucked. And then my body kind of figured out how to eat and digest enough food to the point where now I can fast longer. Because before I just fasted, I just felt like I was dying because I hadn't eaten anything, or I hadn't eaten enough previously when I wasn't fasting. So now I can actually just fast for 3 days, and then I'll just put away like 5 pounds of steak a day until I start feeling like just super full. And I'll just do another 3-day fast. But I couldn't do that until like this month or like the previous month. So the first time I could actually eat enough food, because I just get nauseous. And I think a lot of why I can eat enough has to do with the fact that I just keep on fermenting green tea and then just drinking fermented green tea. I really feel like that helps because I'm having solid poops on carnivore consistently for the first time in my entire life. And also, it's fairly unique that I'm having these solid poops. And that really helps because you have to have fermented foods. You have to have your microbiome sustained. You have to support your mitochondria. And your mitochondria are eukaryotic bacteria, which are fed by the same byproducts of the eukaryotic bacteria that make up your microbiome. So you need these things. They support physical recovery on every level. So that's what I'm just doing, like a 60. I think I'm fasted for, last time I ate was like Sunday morning at 4 in the morning. So, or like Monday morning, 4 in the morning. So that means it is 12 hours until 72 hours. So I'm at 60 hours right now. I'm 60 hours fasted right now. Probably going to break that soon. Probably going to meditate first. Journal. Already went for a walk. Just trying to, I don't know. I mean, I can't really, I'm just kind of spacey right now and tired, but it's whatever. Bum, 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 bum. Yeah, this isn't really a terribly productive state of mind to be in because I'm just kind of spacey. Which wouldn't be a problem, except that I also just have like fatigue. Like, I just feel like this kind of fatigue. But I mean, I haven't eaten in 60 hours, and I slept well last night. And if I eat, I'll definitely get energy, but I'll probably get really sleepy first. So I think that basically, kind of to wrap up my ideas, because I was talking about NMDA receptor and fasting, I think that there's a principle I play around with a lot that I feel like I discovered, but I didn't. I think I might have just coined the term, but metabolic inertia, where if your metabolism is going at a high rate and you remove the things that are keeping it going at a high rate, it doesn't instantaneously stop. It kind of keeps going on its own inertia. And with my brain, I've built some metabolic inertia. My brain has metabolism off of food on Adderall, or I guess Vyvanse, and because it is technically Vyvanse I'm on right now, it's not Adderall. I just kind of force a habit. I don't know, just laziness. Not wanting to change the term I'm using. So if I eat, I'll get tired, then I'll wake up the next day and I'll have a bunch of energy. And I'm not going to smoke pot. Probably only smoke pot like once a week because I think that doing that will kind of keep my brain stable. Because just that seems to be what I observe. I think like once a week would kind of introduce a beneficial level of neuroplasticity without bringing on the negative effects of THC, which come from downregulation due to excessively high dosage or chronic consumption. So just taking it like once a week probably help, because it does make me sleepy. So, and you can go through my no weed, no Adderall videos, but I guess I'll talk about that a little bit. Weed has an antioxidant effect on the brain, and low doses administered infrequently can correct overexcitation of certain areas and be beneficial for dysregulated brains. So that's what I plan on doing with that. And so I eat a bunch of food probably this evening. I just pass out, maybe wake up again, eat more food, pass out. My body kind of normalizes, and then I just probably going to keep on eating, taking paracetam, eating, taking paracetam. Maybe until the point where my brain starts wanting more choline, because paracetam, this is something to explore. Paracetam, if I take it without choline, I start getting a headache around day 7. So maybe around day 7, I just reduce the dose instead of upping the choline. And then treat that as a loading phase. And then also go straight into the fasting on green tea. And I feel like fasting just has this magical benefit where if I push the fast for like 3 days, my brain on paracetam will kind of rewire itself to maintain the functioning it had while on paracetam. And if I just pump enough green tea into my system, I'll get the same like made you poop effect that Adderall and Vyvanse give me. So I'll kind of clear out my gut. And then I won't need to fast on Adderall, but I could just fast on paracetam or fast off of paracetam and get the same effect. Because if I don't take Adderall when I'm fasting right now, I just kind of feel like shit. But that was because I've been just not taking Adderall or paracetam or anything. I've just been raw dogging life without any of these substances. So instead of doing that, I guess if I sat down and I just consumed enough green tea, I could do that, but I've also just been working too much. So if I just sat down and just consumed green tea for like the entirety of the 3-day period. I might be able to get by without paracetam either. But I'm just going to kind of say, well, paracetam is what has been working for the last 3 months. And not taking anything has just been working for the last month. So I'm just going to default to the thing that's been working for the longer period of time, which is the whole reason I'm on Adderall in the first place right now. Because, again, my body has inertia. I've been taking Adderall almost every day for the last 5 years. So I'm going to default to solution and smoking weed almost every day for the last 5 years. Or not almost every day. They've gone a lot of periods without weed, but I've been smoking weed more than I haven't been. And that's also just due to other issues I have. I don't really want to smoke weed. Like, when my brain works, I don't want to smoke weed. I really believe I don't want to smoke weed. The only times I start smoking weed again is when I start experiencing overexcitation of my brain, inability to sleep, various forms of dysregulation. When I can get this baby regulated and just go watch my previous videos, because I'm very open about all this stuff, I don't smoke weed and I feel great and I talk about it. So that's what I'm trying to get to, but this thing has not been working my whole life. I mean, it works great in a lot of ways, but in terms of sleep function and all the areas of my brain that rely on sleep, which is all of them, it doesn't work well. So, but the IQ cognitive problem solving part works well enough that I've been able to figure out most of the sleep thing. So at the point where I've entirely figured out the sleep thing and I've implemented the systems for long enough to let my brain completely heal, world watch out. Devin Young is here and he's unstoppable. But yeah, I have neurological issues like chronic fatigue. And I'm pretty good at overcoming it. You can't really tell in these videos because I like to talk, but I am exhausted all of the time. I just make myself exercise because it gives me energy. And, yeah, so, and then the distractibility, because I could get into neurological stuff, but basically, fasting is really helpful neurologically. I used fasting a lot in high school, and really improved my brain function, especially when I consume green tea. So basically, though, the philosophy that I'm operating under is that I'm going to continue just going back to what worked. So now if paracetam fasts work, then I'll default to paracetam fasts. And then I will start experimenting however I need to from there. Maybe fasting off paracetam, etc. And then at some point, I don't know. I mean, I don't think I'm going to be going off carnivore anytime soon. And even if I do, I don't think I will be going off the lion diet or carnivore anytime soon. I don't even think I'm going to be introducing anything else anytime soon. We'll see. But again, I like the strategy of default to the previous thing that worked, but then also understand that my body is a dynamic system. So, like, well, why was Adderall working and then why did it stop working? Well, because NMDA receptor desensitization, because not sleeping can't support the NMDA receptor. And then I end up getting a different NMDA receptor response and then I'm like, okay, so it's not like it's default to the previous thing that worked, but then you use that to ask yourself why it isn't working. And then you build on that, but you build from what you had previously, because probably 95% of what you were doing previously that was working and is no longer working still would work. It's probably only like 5% that's off. Or even if it's more, it'll still lead you to what will work. Like when I was doing like a ketogenic diet the first time, I was doing a messed up version of keto because the keto advice out there is messed up. Dave Asprey, I think you're kind of a scumbag for not disclosing that you've been on TRT since you're 25. Your diet is terrible for hormones and all the supporting systems. Just being very, very honest. Little scummy Little scummy of you, you know? Because it was my faith in you that honestly kept me on that diet for long enough to develop issues, and you should really think about that and feel bad about it. Because I'm gonna try to disclose all that stuff in all my books and everything, so people don't run into those problems. But like, I don't think you're an evil person because of it. I just think you didn't understand that people would take you seriously. Shit, I don't know. Um, So anyway, though, I was doing that version of keto, and he just doesn't like. Go read the Bulletproof Diet. The guy just doesn't understand things, and it's kind of obvious to me now. But I did that and ended up developing issues after like 9 months, and then I kind of kept on innovating on those, and then after like 18 months, I was like pretty fucked. And it was like salt deficiency and like just the whole way just everything's wrong. His whole understanding of fiber is wrong. His whole understanding of food choices is wrong. His whole understanding of raw versus cooked foods is wrong. Like he's kind of just wrong about like everything. Like it's basically like you take a bunch of stuff that works and you put it together in a way that doesn't work. Dave Asprey, I really feel bad saying this right now. My subconscious mind is just speaking its own thing. You really just should have disclosed that you're on TRT because it should have been a big indicator to you that your diet doesn't effing work. So now I end up having testosterone problems and hormone problems, and my kidneys swell up because of aldosterone because I'm retaining potassium and not enough sodium and all this stuff. And but I didn't just immediately go vegan. I was kind of like, okay, well, I'll start by doing the same thing but consuming more carbs. And then I was like, oh, consuming carbs seems to really help. How about I do this thing called protein fasting? And then I went back to what I was doing after protein fasting, and then I kind of like just at least to know how my body responds in comparison to how it was responding to what it was responding to previously. Like I would go back to the bulletproof diet that wasn't working after doing something that appeared like it was working in order to get confirmation that it wasn't working in precisely the ways that I thought it wasn't working and that the new thing was working, and then to see how my body reacted to the switch, not just the variables, because switching between variables itself is a variable. So that's just the approach I've been taking to my health problems. Not just my health problems, just the project of optimizing myself. Most people seem to come to this project at a later stage in life. Like they kind of run into this problem around 60 and they're like, well, I guess I'm dying now, so I'll just do that slowly. I started dying very quickly at the age of 16. So I didn't have the luxury of just accepting my own demise, because then I'd be a little bitch of an older brother who wouldn't be a very good example to his younger siblings. And so I just didn't do that. I just went the other way where I was like, well, I'm not going to die from this shit, so I'm just going to apply my fairly substantial brain power to not dying from this. So I've just been taking this approach to basically every single metric across which you can vary a human's biochemistry since then. And it's led me to believing that I'm going to be fasting on piracetam next week, because fasting has this nearly magical ability to allow my brain and body to adapt to new things. So seeing as I'm switching between an NMDA receptor stimulator and an NMDA receptor sensitizer, I feel like I will allow my body to adjust to that on a fast, which will increase my norepinephrine, which will neurologically stimulate metabolism anyway, hopefully compensating for any issue that could arise from disrupting my biochemistry due to not taking Adderall on the fast, because like I said, I take Adderall when I'm fasting. And also allow my gut to rest, because there's a reciprocity between my brain's biochemistry and the biochemistry of my metabolism and digestion. So it's easier to allow my brain's biochemistry to shift when it is not like let's say my brain's running on blue and my gut's running on blue. And then let's say my brain's suddenly running on red and my gut's still running on blue. It would be easier if my gut wasn't running on anything, and then my brain would run on red, and then my gut would run on... I don't know. That's actually a really bad metaphor. Like, just talking, because the words are coming out. Like I said, I'm spacey, so that's why I decided to make this video, because this is just how my stream of consciousness is going right now, but I'm going to get more specific about this. So, your digestion relies on stimulation from your brain. Obviously. Like, if I were just to stress you out beyond all belief, your digestion would stop. So I'm not going to do that. But basically, if I'm digesting food and my brain has Adderall in it, or my brain has paracetam in it, or whatever, and then I suddenly change that, now the signals from my brain to my body are different, which means that my gut-brain axis is different. So now my gut has to adjust, but my gut is effed up, so it doesn't want to adjust. My gut just wants to keep being a gut. So if I remove everything my gut has to do, I'm like, hey, gut, just take a few days off. And then I'm like, hey, brain, we're going to do something different this time. Well, now my brain doesn't have to consult my gut because my gut's got an off day. So now I'm just only dealing with my brain, and I can just drink green tea. So, which also affects my gut as well and every other system in my body. It's very interconnected, but it just actually works better this way. Like, oh, so that's what I'm doing. And I feel really spacey. And I'm going to meditate and write a book about it and probably feel guilty about all the things I didn't do while I was healing myself from a condition that's never been previously cured.